Hello, hi guys. Today we will do one important chapter, reaching the age of adolescence in biology. And through this chapter, we will try to understand the various phases of becoming from child to adulthood, puberty, adolescence, type of hormones required, type of problem faced during adolescence. In this way, we will study all these chapters, which are sex hormones and which are other hormones which impact the human growth. So these are the things in this chapter we will study. Now there are various child development periods. During these periods, for example, this is infancy, starting period. These are in months. These are weeks, 3 weeks, newborn you can say weeks, and then 23rd, that is, this is toddlerhood, and before after that it will be preschooler, 2 years to around 6 year preschooler, and after that primary school he goes. This is the stage of childhood, and after that adolescence, school age, you can say pre-teenage, and after that from here it starts puberty in girls. Generally puberty comes first in girls as compared to boys. You can say 1 or 2 years is the difference. Adolescence will start from here, 13-14 years, you can say age from 12 years, and it goes like this, 18 year, 19 year, like this. So this is the different stages of adolescence, pre-adolescence, preschooler, childhood, and infancy. So this diagram is a basic understanding how and which are the various development period in a child. See another diagram to understand more. Adolescence and puberty. What is it? Adolescence. You have learned about human reproductive organ in earlier chapter also. Here in this chapter we will discuss the role of hormones play in bringing about changes that make a child grow into an adult. In this diagram, see carefully this diagram, so that in coming slides, coming pages, we will be able to understand the various role, and we develop a picture in mind. For example, this is hypothalamus. This is hypothalamus, male, and this is female, and this is pineal gland. These are pineal gland. These are pituitary gland. Here pituitary gland, and hypothalamus is just above the side of pituitary, and these are thyroid glands, and near to thyroid, below thyroid you can say, these are parathyroid gland, and these are thymus. Here thymus, you can say thymus part, and these are adrenal part, you can say these are adrenal part, and then pancreas. This is like pancreas, here the pancreas, ovary here, this is ovary, and these are testes in male organ, in male. So these are the various parts, or you can say glands, endocrine glands, which are present in male and females, and these are important for adolescence and puberty. Growth begins from the day one is born. From the day when the child is born, growth will start, but after the crossing of 10 to 11 years, there is a sudden spurt in growth which becomes noticeable. We generally see sudden various parts of body appearance in child after 10 or 11 years. The changes take place in the body are part of growing up. They indicate that you are no longer a child but are on the way to become an adult. Now after 10 or 11 years, the child is growing towards adult. Growing up is a natural process. The period of life when the body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity is called adolescence. Important definition is here of the definition of adolescence. The period of life when the body undergoes changes leading to reproductive maturity, and we will call it adolescence. The phase to becoming mature, you can say, is adolescence. Adolescence begins around the age of 11 and lasts up to 18 or 19 years. You can say the age of adolescence is between 11 to 18 or 19 years. These 6 to 7 years are the age of adolescence, fast grown of child and becoming towards mature or adult. Since this period covers the teens, age of teen is 13 to 18 years, or you can say 13 to 19 years, and adolescents are also called teenagers. Teenagers, these are the teenagers, diagram happy face. After 18 or 19 they will get more responsibility, so before that they are smiling, and after 22 or 30 23 years, when they will prepare for higher competitive exams like SSC CGL banking, then we will see their smile. Obviously we hope that they will smile. In girls, adolescence may begin a year or two earlier than boys, as we have seen the diagram also in that first diagram. And also the period of adolescence varies from person to person. There can be variation 1 or 2 years. The human body undergoes several changes during this adolescence period. This is the psyche of young teenagers, or you can say these changes mark the onset of puberty. The most important change which marks puberty is that boys and girls become capable of reproduction. Capable of reproduction, and this is the phase of puberty. Puberty ends when an adolescent reaches reproductive maturity. When adolescent reaches reproductive maturity, or you can say adolescent will grow into mature or adult phase, and the stage, this is the stage. This stage is puberty. And which are the characteristics of this puberty? Which are the characteristics of these puberty phases? Increase in height. First, the most conspicuous change during puberty is the sudden increase in height. First important change is the sudden increase in height, and at this time the long bone, that is the bones of arms and legs, elongate and makes a person tall. So sudden rise in the height will indicate that the person is growing towards adolescence. Calculation for full height. This is the formula: present height and divided by percentage of full height at this age and into 100. Suppose example, a boy is 9-year-old and 120 centimeter tall. At the end of the growth period, he is likely to be 100 by 25 and 100%. You can say there is one chart, and in this chart it is given that 75% is the height of that boy. According to that chart, it means the boy 9-year-old height in this age, the height achieved is 75%, and if he is 120, then we can calculate the total. He is likely to be 160 centimeter tall. So this is the way one can assume the height, what can be the possible height of that person. Initially girls grow faster than boys, but by about 18 years of age both reach their maximum height. And the rate of growth in height varies in different individuals. Some people grow fast at earlier stages, or some may at later stages, but generally the girls grow fast in earlier stage and boys later on till at the age of 18 the maximum height is achieved. Some may grow suddenly at puberty and then slow down, while others may grow gradually. So these are the changes that all parts of the body do not grow at the same rate. Sometimes the arms and legs or hands and feet of the adolescents look oversized and out of proportion with the body. We can see in many individuals, many teenagers, that this proportion of arms length and other body part are not similar and varies a lot. But soon after the other part catch up and result in the proportionate body. You must have noticed that height of an individual is more or less similar to that of some family member. Why is it? Why is it that height of that family member and the teenager is almost similar of one or two family members? This is because height depends on the genes inherited from the parents. Genes which are responsible for the height, and these genes are inherited from parents, so height is dependent on parents' height also in many cases. It is, however, very important to eat the right kind of food during this growing period. Why? Because this helps the bones, muscles and other part of the body get adequate nourishment for growth, so that adequate nourishment for the growth can be achieved. You will find nutritional needs of adolescents discussed later in this lesson. But at puberty, you see, puberty, the voice box or the larynx begins to grow. What is voice box, which is also called larynx box, and which is responsible for voice generation? As we are creating voice, or we are some sound creating part, these are voice box or larynx. Boys develop larger voice box, that's why boys are heavier. Growing voice box in boys can be seen as a protruding part of the throat called Adam's apple. This is because of the Adam's apple which represents the throat and its shape. You can say that what is the Adam apple, which we also called it part of larynx. This is Adam's apple. This is Adam's apple. This is Adam apple. Adam apple in grown up body, and earlier it is not so grown. After a certain age, it will look like this. Otherwise, it is like flat. Adolescence begins around the age of 11 and lasts up to 18 or 19 years. You can say the age of adolescence is between 11 to 18 or 19 years. These 6 to 7 years are the age of adolescence, fast grown of child and becoming towards mature or adult. Since this period covers the teens, age of teen is 13 to 18 years, or you can say 13 to 19 years, and adolescents are also called teenagers. Teenagers, these are the teenagers, diagram happy face. After 18 or 19, they will get more responsibility. So before that, they are smiling, and after 22 or 30, 23 years, when they will prepare for higher competitive exams like SSC CGL banking, then we will see their smile. Obviously, we hope that they will smile. This is the stage. This is important, interesting about the voice box. Increase activity of sweat and sebaceous glands. Which are these glands? Sweat and sebaceous glands. You can see which are. This is hair on skin, and these are sebaceous glands. These are sebaceous gland. You can say around here, the around here the gland is called sebaceous gland, and this is sweating during summer, especially when the humidity is very high, then we sweat. And this is the skin, this is the entire skin. This was sebaceous glands, this was hair, and this is skin space, and we here found sweat gland. Just beneath the surface of skin, and we found sweat gland, which is near to sebaceous gland. So many young people get acne and pimples on the face at this time because of the increased activity of these glands in the skin. During this period, these glands are very active. A few glands such as sweat gland, oil glands and salivary glands release their secretion through ducts. Endocrine glands release hormone directly into the blood stream. These are endocrine glands. And what is the role of endocrine glands? They secrete hormone directly into the blood stream. So these are called ductless gland. These are ductless gland. And development of sex organs at puberty stage, male sex organ like testes and penis develop completely. The testes also begin to produce sperms. In girls, ovary is large and eggs begin to mate. Also, ovaries start releasing mature eggs. So this is the ovary, fallopian tube, broad ligament, cervix, uterus. This is the uterus where the child grow, or you can say the fetus grow into embryo, and embryo stick to the walls of, embed in the walls of uterus, and then grow as a child, as a infant. Cervix, vagina. This is the structure of female reproductive organs. Reaching mental, intellectual and emotional maturity at the stage of adolescence and puberty. Adolescence is also a period of change in a person's way of thinking. Adolescence is also a period of change in a person's way of thinking. Adolescents are more independent than before and also self-conscious. Intellectual development takes place and they tend to spend considerable time in thinking. Earlier they were more happier, now they will start thinking about their career, about their future plans and etc. So they will be now more sincere. In fact, it is often the time in one's life when the brain has the greatest capacity for learning. This is the time for greater capacity to learn of 10th, 11th, 12th, 8th, 9th class, you can say. This is the time. The changes which occur at adolescence are controlled by hormones. These changes are controlled by hormones. Hormones are chemical substances. What are hormones? Hormones are chemical substances. These are secretion from the endocrine glands or endocrine system, ductless system. The male hormone or testosterone, which is male hormone, answer is testosterone, begins to be released by the testes at the onset of puberty. Whenever the child has grown as an adolescent and puberty stage has occurred, then testes will release testosterone hormone. It will start releasing testosterone hormone, which is a male hormone. And once puberty is reached in girls, ovaries also will start to produce female hormone, and name of female hormone is estrogen. So testosterone and estrogen, these are two important words. These are sex hormones. The production of these hormones is under the control of another hormone secreted from the endocrine gland called pituitary gland. Another gland which is pituitary gland, and this gland is helpful or controlling the secretion of these sex hormones. So this pituitary gland role is also important because this is the control point of sex organs or sex hormones, you can say. This is the diagram. Here we can see pineal gland. This is pineal gland, hypothalamus. These are thyroid, and pituitary gland is situated here. Pituitary gland is situated here, and you can also see other parts. This is the stage, this is important, interesting about the voice box. Increase activity of sweat and sebaceous glands. Which are these glands? Sweat and sebaceous glands. You can see which are, this is hair on skin, and these are sebaceous glands. These are sebaceous gland. You can say around here, the gland is called a sebaceous gland, and this is sweating during summer, especially when the humidity is very high. Then we sweat, and this is the. If we want to classify the hormone, then we can also divide hormone into two parts. That is, one is steroid hormone and other type is peptide hormone, amino acid and miscellaneous. In peptide, it can be insulin, glycogen hormone, or amino acid derivatives, thyroidal hormones, or prostaglandins, cytokinins. These are the non-steroid hormones. And steroid hormone can be two types. One is sex hormone and other is adrenal cortical hormone, that is corticoids. We also call it corticoil. And sex hormone, male sex hormone and female sex hormone. Male sex hormone, androgen and testosterone, while as female sex hormones are estrogens and progesterone. These are the two hormones which are released, secreted by female body. Estradiol, important here is estrogens and progesterone. These are the steroid hormone, or you can say the sex hormone, female sex hormone. The testes and ovaries secrete sex hormone. These hormones are responsible for the male and female secondary sexual character. Which are sexual character? Like further, sex hormone are under the control of hormones from the pituitary gland. As we have seen, the pituitary gland playing important role, and in the secretion of sex hormones, it is controlling point. Pituitary secretes many hormones, one of which makes ova mature in the ovaries and sperm form in the testes. So, pituitary is playing important role in sexual reproduction of male and female both. Onset of puberty is controlled by hormones. This is the diagram. You can see onset of puberty is controlled by hormone. How is it being held? Hormones from pituitary stimulates testes and ovaries to release testosterone in male and estrogen in female. So testosterone, estrone and estrogen, these are two important male and female hormones, and pituitary gland stimulates, playing important role in stimulation. Released in the bloodstream, what hormones? And reach part of the body, that is target side. Hormones will be released in the bloodstream and will reach to the target side, and then it stimulates changes in the body at onset of puberty. So this is the onset of puberty concept. Then we can say reproductive phase of life in humans. Adolescents become capable of reproduction when their testes and ovaries begin to produce gametes. Gametes, these are male and female cells. Capacity for maturing and production of gametes lasts for much longer time in males than in females. In females, the reproductive phase of life begins at puberty, that is 10 to 12 years of age, and generally lasts till the age is approximately 45 to 50 years. So this is the initial stage of reproduction, and this is the last stage of reproduction. The ova begins to mature with the onset of puberty. The ova begins to mature with the onset of puberty, and one ova mature and is released by one of the ovaries once in 28 to 30 days. 30 days. During this period, wall of uterus becomes thick so as to receive the egg, in case it is fertilized, and begin to develop. And then what will happen? This will result into the pregnancy. You can say egg and sperm, they will fuse and will become zygote, and then pregnancy concept will start. If fertilization does not occur, The released egg and the thickened lining of the uterus along with its blood vessels are shed off. This causes bleeding in women, which is called menstruation. Menses, you can say menstruation stage, where the bleeding is take place. Menstruation occur once in about 28 to 30 days. This is the period of menstruation in women. Female, you can say the first menstrual flow begin at the puberty and is called first menstrual flow. Menstrual cycle start, and that first is called menarche. And at 45 to 50 years of age, menstrual cycle stops. Stoppage of menstruation is termed as menopause. Pause means stop, and meno means these are the menses, related to menses. Initially, menstrual cycle may be irregular. It takes some time to become regular. Menstrual cycle is controlled by hormone, and the cycle includes the maturation of an age. Maturation of age, its release, thickening of uterine wall, and its breakdown if pregnancy does not occur. If its breakdown, if the pregnancy does not occur. In case the egg is fertilized, it begins to divide and then get embedded in the uterus for further development. As we have seen, we have discussed that embryo will develop because the egg of woman and sperm of male, they fused and they'll make a zygote, and then zygote will divide into, it will convert into embryo, and it is embedded in the uterus for further development. This is the case till now. Now, who will decide whether it is a boy or girl? Inside the fertilized egg or zygote, you can say, zygote is the fertilized egg, is the instruction for determining the sex of the baby. This instruction is present in the thread-like structure called chromosome in the fertilized egg. So these are the chromosomes is the ultimately responsible for deciding whether the baby is boy or girl. Chromosomes are present inside the nucleus of every cell. All human beings have 23 pairs of chromosomes. This is the 23 pairs word is important. These are 23 pairs, means 46 total chromosomes in the nucleus of their cells. Two chromosomes out of these cells these are sex chromosomes. We call it X and Y chromosomes. A female has two X chromosomes only, very important, while the male has X and one X and one Y chromosome. Beside these two, other are X chromosomes, you can say. These gametes, egg and sperms, has only one set of chromosomes. Unfertilized egg also has one X chromosome, but sperm are of two kinds. One is X chromosome and other is a Y chromosome. In male, only X chromosome, and in female X. In female only X and Y. In male, X and Y both chromosomes take place. When a sperm containing X chromosome fertilizes the egg, the zygote would have two X chromosome and develop into a female child. In that case, because 2X is equal to, they will result into the female, and if one is X and then otherwise, if the sperm contribute Y chromosome to the egg ovum, you can say at the fertilizing stage, the zygote would develop into male child. The sex chromosome of the father determines the sex of an unborn baby. The sex chromosome of father, it means determine the sex of unborn baby. Generally, this is the misconception in states where the state has very long, very big gap in female and male child. Then this is the responsibility that many people understand that mother is responsible for male and female, but the actual thing is that father is responsible for the baby or boy. Baby boy or girl baby. Father and mother. Father XY chromosome and mother XX chromosome, which determine, how does it determine? If here one mother chromosome and one father chromosome, and it will become XX, then it will be daughter. If father is Y chromosome and mother is X chromosome, then it will be XY, that is son. And in this case, if father X and mother is also X chromosome, then the child will be daughter, and in that case X father, mother, and wife father, then child will be son. So this is the principle there. The sex of a newborn child will be dependent. Now, what are hormones which are other than sex hormones? Hormones other than sex hormones, let's have a look on that also. The hormones secreted by pituitary stimulates testes and ovaries to produce their hormones. You have already learned that pituitary gland is an endocrine gland. It is attached to the brain as we have seen in the diagram. Apart from the pituitary, testes and ovaries, there are other endocrine glands in the body such as thyroid, pancreas and adrenal, which we have seen in the diagram. Also here, thyroid glands are here. So this is the disease which secretes the hormone thyroxine. And what is diabetes? Diabetes, when pancreas is not producing the hormone insulin in sufficient quantities, then we will suffer from diabetes. Adrenal glands secrete hormone which maintain the correct salt balance in the body. This is the role of adrenal gland. Salt balance, salt balance. Adrenals also produce the hormone adrenaline. It helps the body to adjust the stress when one is very angry, embarrassed or worried. Thyroid and adrenal secrete their hormones when they receive order from pituitary through its hormones. Pituitary also secrete growth hormones which is necessary for the normal growth of person. Pituitary will also secrete growth hormones which is necessary for the normal growth function. And the role of hormone in completing the life history of insect and frogs. Till now we have discussed about the role in men, sex hormone role in men. Now let's discuss some other point and the life history of insect and frogs and what is the role of hormones. Metamorphosis in insect is controlled by insect hormones. In the last chapter we have discussed about the metamorphosis where the larva of frog was totally different from the adult. So change in from larva stage to adult or from the very initial stage to larva stage, these are the process of metamorphosis. In frog it is controlled by thyroxine, the hormone produced by thyroid. Thyroxine production requires the presence of iodine in water. If iodine in water, so for thyroid production iodine is required. If water in which the tadpole are growing does not contain sufficient iodine, tadpole cannot become adults. Tadpole cannot become adults. So role of iodine is important. Now nutritional need of an adolescent. What should adolescents should eat? Adolescence is a stage of rapid growth and development, hence the diet for an adolescent has to be carefully planned. Our Indian meal of roti, rice, dal, pulses and vegetable is balanced meal. Milk is also balanced food in itself. Fruit also provide nourishment, and for infants, mother milk provide all nourishment that they need. So milk of mother is very important because it has all ingredients and we can call it a complete balanced diet for infant. Iron builds blood, and iron is food such as leafy vegetable, jaggery, meat, citrus, Indian gooseberry, which is we call it amla, are good for adolescents. So this is a good diet for adolescents. Now in last 15 to 20 years, entire world is struggling from AIDS. However, I think this is in a controlled situation now. But why the adolescent should read at an earlier stage about AIDS? Because it is very dangerous virus, and who is ready for sexual reproduction, they must understand the role of and the dangerousness of HIV virus. This virus can pass on to a normal person from an infected person by sharing the syringes used for injecting drugs. So one is the method of transferring this disease or virus to another is syringe. Question will be asked based on which is the responsible cause for spread of AIDS. One is syringes, while used for injecting drugs, and it can also transmit it to an infant from the infected mother through her milk. So through her milk, this word is important, through her milk. Question, I have seen many questions in UPSC and SSC this line. Whether AIDS or HIV can be spread through mother milk or not? Answer is yes. Virus can also be transmitted through sexual contact with a person infected with HIV. So sexual contact, milk, syringes, drugs, these are the responsible reason for the spreading of HIV virus. So in this chapter we have studied many important concepts of adolescence, puberty, we call it a puberty also, and the role of hormones, and how can we stop, or what kind of knowledge we can imbibe in this puberty stage, teenagers, or you can say. So in this chapter there are certain keywords have been used. Now go through this chapter again and try to understand whether you know all these keywords or not. Which are these keywords? One is atom, apple, other is adolescence, adrenaline, balanced diet, endocrine gland, estrogen, hormones, insulin, pituitary gland, puberty, reproductive health, secondary sexual character, sex chromosomes, target, site, testosterone, thyroxine, and voice box. These are the keywords which have been used in this chapter, and if you give 100% answer of these keywords, it means you have acquired good knowledge after this presentation, and we will again come with another important presentation. All the best.